Welcome to Tech Unscripted, where we take the polish off the podium and get into real stories and strategies shaping enterprise technology today. I'm Kate MacLean, Senior Director of Solutions Marketing at Cisco, and today we're getting into a topic that's transforming how every business operates: AI-ready data centers. We're going to talk to 4 technology leaders shaping infrastructure at global giants and trusted innovators, and dig into how they're preparing for explosive AI growth. Let's kick things off by getting to know our panelists. MacLean, we'll start with you. Can we get a quick intro and learn about your role and what you do?
Oh, for sure. Hi, I'm MacLean Murphy. I'm a senior CSC engineer at Worldwide Technology. So Worldwide is Cisco's #1 partner across the world. I spend a lot of time talking to the everyday engineer about how to get their data centers ready for AI and what does that mean in terms of kind of nuts and bolts.
Hi, I'm Dan Morgan. I'm a Senior Staff Infrastructure Architect, which means I design data center architectures at General Electric Aerospace.
Yeah, my name's Rob Gastrick. I'm a data center architect. I've worked with Dan Morgan for more years than I can remember, maybe 20 or more. I design networks. I think that our networks are getting closer to being ready for more AI workloads, but I see increased demand, meaning that we're having to build larger, higher speed capacity networks.
Awesome. And finally, Rustam.
My name is Rustam Gaisin. I'm Senior Network Engineer at Microsoft. I've been working on delivering the readiness for the data centers, for training workloads for our key customers. Yeah, that's me.
Excellent. Thank you all for those amazing introductions. I'm really excited to be joined by such great panelists with such impressive backgrounds. So to warm things up, get the conversation flowing, we'll do a quick round of rapid fire icebreakers.
Okay.
So you ready to start? You want to
Sure,
go first?
absolutely.
Let's do it. Okay, so where's your team in terms of AI readiness on a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 4. And the reason for that is we have spine leaf VXLAN architectures in place. We don't have the bandwidth on those architectures that we need to provide AI readiness. And along with that, we have various data center locations that are ready from a power and cooling perspective, but we also have others that aren't. You would have to have a different location, and there's no way around that. So, we got some uphill on that, but we're certainly at a place where we have a good starting point.
Excellent. Rob, how about you?
I would sort of echo Dan's comments, but probably think we're a little more ready than that. But a lot of the architecture that we have out there in the data center is spine leaf already, and it can grow to meet the needs of the compute and storage resources as AI moves, increases their demands.
Sure. Rustam, how about you? 1 to 10, where are you?
If you were asking me yesterday, I would say 10. Today it's going to be 9 because the growth is going super fast and demand is growing super fast. Every day we have extra ask like, hey, we need more capacity, more GPUs. Give us more. Like customers just literally coming and saying, give us more. So today it's going to be 9 after 10.
Okay. Yeah. And finally?
I think at Worldwide, we're 9 or 10. We've been thinking about AI for a good long time, and Worldwide made its investment in our infrastructure probably 3-5 years ago. And so everybody at Worldwide now has access to AI tools. We have an RFP assistant that can help us build RFPs. We run Copilot. Everybody has Copilot on their laptops to be able to search their emails or, help schedule meetings or summarize to really make those strong use cases for AI really available tools. I work with customers though who they're just starting their AI journeys, and so I end up having a lot of conversations about well, what do you need to do to get ready for AI? And the need is not going to be static, and it's not going to be anything that you've historically had. So let's talk about what AI means to your data center, and let's talk about what it's going to mean to get that data center or multiple data centers ready. Mm-hmm. So that's a conversation I have on a regular basis.
Excellent. I see a lot of nodding heads here. Okay, the next icebreaker. Let's start with you, Rob. In one word, what does AI ready mean to you?
AI ready is making sure that your network infrastructure can handle increased demands on bandwidth and being able to connect to other devices. So I'm having compute and storage asking for 100 gig connectivity now, and I'm like, do you need this? And they're like, well, that's what the interface is. But AI is going to start drawing more and more on this, and we need to make sure that our backbones can support the high demands that these things are going to be drawing on us. And our spine leaf architecture, I think, can grow to handle that. And it's kind of an exciting time to be in the field.
So it sounds like maybe power, demand could be that.
They are doing a lot of water cooled in the data center space. And that changes the dynamic from the facilities folks where they're not, pumping so much air conditioning in. Now it's contained in a liquid cooling, and it's centralized where it's at.
Does that give you the heebie-jeebies having to run liquid in your data center?
Well, it's like
Not compatible.
Yeah.
it's just a different way of doing this, but it's it'll be kind of nice because you don't have to waste so much hot and cold. With air, it's more focused to where the cooling needs to be.
So it sounds like AI is shifting a lot of our mindset, even with cooling.
It's always changing.
So even things like, thinking about air, as a network engineer, I'm used to like, okay, let's talk about your switches. But now when we think about AI, you have to start thinking about, okay, well, let's talk about the rack. And is the rack built for accommodating the cooler at the bottom? And okay, let's talk about your power now, because instead of like a 10 kilowatt rack, you're going to need like 80 or 100. And so you now have to think about, well, how many rows can I actually get in that data center, because these racks are now bigger, and then on top of, I want to do the liquid on the switch as well. So that's a whole nother thing. These are all the conversations that you have to have those in advance. You can't just wake up one day and say, okay, let's turn on AI.
Really important insights
Yeah.
around AI, for sure.
Some of our colos, they actually can't fill with all the racks or rows because the demands of one or two rows is sucking so much energy that they don't have capacity to fill up the whole data center.
All right, well, Rustam, I want to get to you and understand what your one word is that comes to mind when you think AI ready.
Teams, people. On top of the infrastructure challenges, you have to have teams who are looking like 2 steps forward. Like looking at the growth, just scaling your infrastructure not going to last you for long. You have to be ready for next steps, innovate how you're going to make this work in the long term.
Excellent. I think we'll just do one really fast last one. MacLean, with you, what is one word that comes to mind when I say Cisco?
Well, I'm very Cisco biased, so that's my caveat. But I've always felt like Cisco's been an industry leader and taken a leadership role, not just in like market share or business, but in terms of technology. And so the idea of having, for example, a switch with a GPU on board, that's making that blend between where's the network start and the compute, where's that edge between the network and the compute, that's blurring those lines. Cisco talks about, networks for AIs, but also AI for networks. And so, being that kind of forward thinker and that technical leader is, to me, what I think about when I think about Cisco. So I guess technical expertise.
Dan, how about you?
Well, it's hyphenated hardcore. And
Yeah.
the reason I say that is we've been down the path where we've used other vendors and we haven't had the same sort of response that we get from Cisco. With Cisco, if there's some aspect that we need fixed or something adjusted, they will do that for us. They're there as far as support goes, and their gears, it works. The hardware works.
Excellent. How about you, Rob?
reliability. I mean, to Dan's point, the equipment that we buy, it's solid, and we have been able to rely on them for, my whole career, basically, over 20 years. And Cisco's always been the leader in quality and making sure that they're cutting edge as far as supporting new technologies.
All right, Rustam, we want to bring us home with this. What's the one word that comes to mind when you hear Cisco?
I'd say it's a tool. I'm very deeply technical, so for me, it's a tool to get my achievements done.
Excellent. Now, are you guys having fun yet? I know I am. So let's get into our next big question here. So what are your top considerations as you prepare your data center for the future and for AI? And Rustam, I'm coming to you first on this one.
Top considerations. I'm going to keep leaning to my first point. It's a people. Like, you need to bring talented engineers who think about future.
I see nodding heads. How about Dan? You want to add to that?
Well,
What do you think?
for us as we move forward to get things ready, it's a little different because we always tolerated this oversubscription as we move from leaf to spine to border, and now we're in a situation where that has to be a one-to-one relationship. So, moving forward, we need to have a lot more robust networks.
Okay, so it sounds like people, networks, MacLean.
Oh man, I think that what Rustin said resonates with me, because I think that in order to be able to have a successful AI journey, it starts with people coming together and deciding where that journey is going to take them, and then and what they want to use out of the AI, and how do they want to develop the tools for themselves. And then from that, you can work backwards to, okay, well, I want to do this. So this is the technology I need. This is the infrastructure I need to support that. This is the power cooling space that I need to support that. So, as we start thinking about having those power cooling space, leaves and spines conversations, there have already been conversations by really talented groups of people who have said, AI is this incredible potential. We want to be able to use it. We want to be able to use it for this. We're going to take this journey together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rob, do you have anything to add to that?
I think orchestration is really revolutionizing the game, because it's allowing us to have standardized configurations and designs throughout the environment so that we can scale and build these bigger networks and higher speed networks that we need for this new demand.
Excellent. Okay, I've got a follow-on. We recently put out a Cisco AI Readiness Index, and it showed that companies expect a jump in AI workloads, 93% jump, but only 68% feel ready for this jump. What are your biggest infrastructure bottlenecks today? And Rob, I'm gonna come to you first on this one.
I would say that our bottlenecks would be basically bandwidth. So we need to basically start going stop thinking about 100 gig and maybe thinking about 400 gig on our backbone for each unit, so that we can handle these increased workloads. Because today, the 100 gig is plenty, but in 5 years, I don't think it's going to be nearly enough.
So you're thinking to the future.
Exactly.
And what AI is going to demand.
Exactly.
As it gets more pervasive. Rustam, what do you think?
As a part of the onboarding team, as I'm onboarding 800G devices, I'm thinking like, hey, this is not enough. This is just going way too fast. And I agree that the network is the biggest bottleneck.
The network is the biggest bottleneck. I see nodding heads. Is there lots of agreement over here on this side of the table as well?
To a large extent. I mean, one thing that I would add to that is that the storage vendors that we use don't necessarily mesh with what's in the AI world. So I think that piece would have to, need some upgrading.
Okay, and MacLean?
I'm actually going to be a little bit different. I feel like that the biggest network infrastructure bottleneck is commitment. The conversations that I have, and I know the internal conversations we had at Worldwide, really required a level of commitment from the organization that we are all going to go on this, and it's going to be painful because this is a new technology that's going to require a lot of different things from our data centers that today they're just not ready for. And so, that kind of change really requires a commitment to work through that kind of pain. You really need to have somebody buy off from a leadership level that this is a journey we're going to have together. Really have to have the organization commit to the journey in a very meaningful way in order to be able to, if we're talking about redoing a data center from the cement flooring all the way up to the ceiling, that's not something you wake up on a Saturday morning and say, hey, I think I want to, I'll do that with my curtains, but I won't do that with my data center. And so I think the biggest bottleneck is commitment and not being afraid of the future.
Excellent. So it sounds like we've talked about teams, technology, and AI is kind of pushing the boundaries across all of those different dimensions. All right, I got another question. Great commentary, great insight so far. This next question, MacLean, I'm going to come to you. 24% of organizations say they're under-resourced when it comes to AI, and 40% are upskilling. So how is your team managing this talent gap?
You need to have kind of this team of teams conversation about what you're going to use AI for, because Worldwide took the really painful path of training our own models, and not everybody has a use case that's even appropriate. Or the resources to be able to fund that, and there are many different ways you could get into the AI world without having to go and, basically have a baby. So, you could go adopt one. So, that team of teams has to come together and decide what are we going to use AI for, and then they can figure out what gaps they have. So it's kind of coming back from let's figure out what we want to do first and then kind of reverse engineer it back so that in the way that you would reverse engineer your data center, reverse engineer, well, what talent do we need?
Yeah, so from our perspective, we don't have we're talking about the network, not the compute side of the fence, just the network piece. And so for our network piece, we probably have enough manpower on staff. It's just a matter of getting those people trained and being able to speak AI and VXLAN and so forth. So really, it's more of a training exercise for us.
I think the dynamic's changing. I think that as a network engineer, it used to be engineering was really the focus, and it almost seems like with everything's becoming programmatic, it's almost like the programming and computer science piece is starting to gain more dominance even in network, which it's always been more of an engineering thing in network. And I think the skills for new engineers are going to require a lot on understanding how to code.
Rustam?
We are expanding like all time, and I see this drought like from the first hand, like how not enough talented engineers. Like you always can find something to delegate to them, like as soon as you're getting somebody. And I'm getting constant pings from different teams asking me, hey, can you do training on this, training on that? And I'm the product of that drought. Like if you ask me like a year and a half ago, like, well, what are those technologies, network technologies for AI? The one I gave a session recently, I was like, I would not know anything of that. But the world is evolving, and you have to keep up, or you're just going to be on the side.
So I guess this next session, I'm just curious, is there any insights that you've heard across kind of the discussion here that differ from thoughts you've had, or you want to kind of double down and kind of share agreement with any that come to mind? I see you want to say something.
Somebody's going to twitch.
Yeah, I see you're twitching here.
Oh, not ready to talk about after that twitch.
You've always got to be learning the newer technologies and keeping yourself fresh, because one thing that's been the same since we started this field, and I'm probably the oldest guy here, but we've been learning new technologies our entire career. And this is the next step and the culmination of my career in going and making sure that you're learning. You've always got to be relevant, and you've got to keep learning so that you remain relevant.
That's a great point. So keep upskilling yourself
Exactly.
as well as your teams.
Increasing your skills, invest in yourself.
So we're talking about not just training models, but training individuals.
Yeah, training individuals. And, you know, some of this orchestration makes it easy for me to pass a lot of my knowledge to the operations folks. And in an hour, they can record my, you know, reviewing this thing, and I don't have to commit, you know, every couple weeks explaining this to people. They can pick this up, and the orchestration, I think, makes it easier to pick up for the newer engineers that are being hired.
MacLean, I see you
Yeah,
nodding.
I'm gonna nod, but I had this exact same conversation just a little bit ago. J2 said that the network is critical this morning, and you know we're all network engineers, so we're all sitting there going, "Duh." But you know, as we think about how we interact with the network and it evolves, you know, we all used to be CLI jockeys, and now you know, and then there's GUI, and now there's APIs. You know, behind it all, somebody is always going to have to know how the network actually runs. As we think about you know, that upscaling, and as Rustin said, we're in a drought. We need network engineers. We need network engineers who can speak this new language, right? But still have a really solid foundation of what the network is doing and what the network is capable of and what its restrictions are.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Especially when there are problems with maybe a single node that could affect
Yes.
the entire AI fabric.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be able to find that issue, yeah.
Rob, did you want to say something?
No, I agree 100% with what MacLean said. It's everything relies on the network, and you need to make sure that your network is stable, secure, and reliable, and have enough capacity for these new workloads.
Rustam, is there anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, as we talked a topic about learning, I want to emphasize that the pace with which we're using to, what we're going and learning is much more faster now. And the race is on the different speeds now, because now for learning you can use Copilot. You're gonna reduce the amount of time you're searching for information by miles. Like, you just ask Copilot, they will tell you exactly what you're looking for. There is no need for hours of search. And this is increasing the competition. You have to be you have to use the latest tools and the latest methods of learning.
Yeah, embrace the latest tools.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm curious to understand if anyone has heard any myths related to AI data centers that you'd want to bust. Sounds like network is critical to AI, even though folks might not, have understood that to be the case before. Anybody else have any myths that they'd want to bust?
I'll start.
Sure.
We're all network engineers, so we can all laugh at ourselves. You know how we always say it's not the network? In AI's case, it actually is the network. So, I mean, and if you think about it, the GPUs are getting faster and faster and faster. You know, we've always been super defensive. It's not the network. It's really not the network. It is really now the network. So that's my myth.
So we can't hide anymore.
Yeah, we can't
Thanks.
hide anymore.
Thanks.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Anybody else? It looks like you're thinking over there.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the proper time to say it, but I feel like we're collaborating with compute and storage more than we've ever in my lifetime, in my career. It used to be that we would just give them 10 gig ports and they were happy and they'd go away, and now they're saying, hey, I ordered this and it's got 100 gig. Do you have any switches to plug it into? And the storage folks are, where do I plug this gear into and stuff like that? And what do I order? And I'm collaborating more with storage and compute than it used to be silos, and now it's mixing it up.
So that seems like
I think
a myth,
that's a good
right?
thing.
Yeah, the myth that everyone works in silos.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
got a lot of collaboration that's required to keep things moving.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we're winding down, I want to ask one more thing. And that is, if you had to give one piece of advice to someone just starting out on their journey with AI and preparing their data center for AI, what would that be? And MacLean, I'm going to start with you. I know you're turning away from me, but I'm going to start with you.
Punchy advice. Just keep learning. Go.
Yeah, keep learning and do the math. And why I say do the math is one of the fascinating things to me is, when you start talking about connecting all these GPUs and so forth and having all that infrastructure in place for that, you gotta, back to that oversubscription piece. I don't know why that's resonating in my head today, but it keeps going through it over and over. So sorry, but that's my thought.
I think we need to be open to what others are asking us, because back in the day, and to Micheline's point earlier, the network wasn't the problem. We had plenty of bandwidth, things like that. And now we need to work with these guys and make sure that we do have enough space on our road, or whatever you want, freeway or whatever you want to call it, that we can handle the capacities that they're asking for and demanding.
Excellent. Rustin, you want to bring us home again? Close us
yeah,
out with that
just-
final piece of advice?
Find talented people.
Well, so with that, this has been an incredible discussion with some amazing panelists. And to our audience, we hope you took away some practical insights and some inspiration. Keep watching Tech Unscripted as we explore real stories from the edge of innovation. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you again soon.